What's up, everyone? This is your host, Ghost, coming to you live. Another wonderful video. How is everyone doing today? Doing well myself. I have a heart out in about an hour. Um, so sucks that I kind of took my time to get this stuff, situated. But it is what it is. What can you do? Um, so yeah, we're gonna talk about a few things. Um, Jake Shields is being dumb on Twitter. He's basically calling uh he's calling, he's I don't know. He's got this weird thing against whatever, which is fine. I have no issues, but his problem is weird. It's very weird. All right. So that's all I can really say. Um he's calling, what the fuck? Women. Um he's I don't know. I guess he's saying that Daily Wire is trying to buy the whatever podcast somehow. I don't understand how he says he has a source. I don't know. We'll get into this. It's weird, but he's being really dumb, and he's having these arguments, and it's even gotten Andrew Wilson involved, and he's trying to say he won his debate with Andrew Wilson on Twitter somehow, um, because he doesn't really understand how, I don't know, maybe the real world works, because it's kind of dumb. Yeah, just his thoughts are just dumb. So we'll go through that. We'll check out, the various back and forth between him and Andrew Wilson, and we'll go from there. And then, of course, we're going to talk about RFK and him being unable to remove himself from the ballots for whatever fucking reason. I don't understand. And then, last but certainly not least, we'll go into the video of legal mindset and check out. Uh, and check out the update he did on Rekieta laws. Uh, uh, what's the word I'm fucking looking for? The update on Rekieta lost case. That's what we're doing. So, mind fart. Yeah, we'll go from there. Um, Sorry. The fuck? All right, sorry. Anyways, before we get into it, follow me on X at official WGhost. That's the best way to find out when I go live. You can also watch me live if you choose to. And then you can also check me on Rumble, rumble.com/withghost. Best way to find, just best way to watch me. And then YouTube, youtube.com/@withghost, and twitch.tv/officialwithghost. My gaming channels, rumble.com/gamingwithghost, and YouTube is at official gaming with ghost. I want to give out a shout out to Mama Joe79 for the follow. Appreciate it. And here we go. All right, we'll get into this real quick. Just trying to find some particular shit. All right, so this is what really started, I guess. Um, might help if I do that. There you go. All right, so Jake Shield says, whatever podcast is a show designed to divide the sexes and make women look like dumb whores. Ironically, it's the same thing you could have said about Fresh and Fit prior to them moving over and doing um prior to him doing whatever or okay. Prior to them doing their new thing about with when it comes to the news and political stuff, that you could the same thing could have been said about Fresh and Fit, designed to divide the sexes and make women look like dumb whores. At least their after hour shows are. Uh, but okay. And Jake Shields likes Fresh and Fit because he's friends with Myron. No big deal. And then he says Daily Wire regularly sends over their talent to amplify and help make the podcast larger. I have a source at The Wire telling me that they are trying to buy the Whatever podcast. Why does a conservative site want to push this garbage? Now, I just want to be clear. I don't really like Whatever. I think it's I think Fresh and Fit's far better. Their After Hours is far better. The only time I really watch Whatever is when the only time I watch Whatever is when Andrew Wilson's on, and that's becoming far and few in between because it's just too much of a pain in the ass to watch. Because, like I've had my issues with Brian on Whatever, not personal issues, of course, but just trying to watch the damn podcast. Just because it's such a pain in the ass to try and watch, to be honest. It really is. Like they have like a TTS that goes on every few fucking seconds, and it interrupts the flow of the conversation. He really lets the women run the show over there, more or less. Like, the women walk over him a bit, are cunts and shit like that, and he doesn't really do much. So I don't like Whatever. I'm not a big fan of Whatever, but I think the statement by Jake Shield is just dumb, and I think his argument between him and Andrew Wilson, he's just shown how dumb he is. Um, so it's a bit ridiculous. Let's see, because like Jake, like a lot of these guys. Okay. He's got the whole that is the JQ derangement syndrome, where where he may have some valid points about JQ and stuff like that, but now he's gotten to the point where he's getting that derangement syndrome where he's being a fool, and we'll show why. So here's I think what kind of really started it all. He's like, he wants to keep working with Daily Wire and saw what happened to Candace Owens. And it's responding to this clip where Brian is he has this lady, and this was like months ago, back in May. So now it's somehow more relevant now. I don't fucking know. Just real quick, what she said.
Which I don't know if you guys are into this conspiracy particularly, but we do have our CIA and Israel's CIA, Mossad. Can't say that.
Nope.
Which
So apparently Brian not wanting to talk about this stuff means he's a shill for whatever, or for the Daily Wire, and it's a shill for the Jews. But the thing is, really, that actually makes far more sense than this is the fact that on YouTube, it's very unsafe to try and talk anything JQ or anything of that. Here's the evidence of this. Myron on Fresh and Fit, whenever he really wants to get into JQ, he switches to a Rumble exclusive. Why? Because he doesn't want to be banned on YouTube, and he knows he will get banned on YouTube for that. So it's far more reasonable to assume that, hey, maybe Brian doesn't want to get into this and shuts down the conversation because he'd end up either getting his channel demonetized or banned completely because Brian's not on Rumble. He's on YouTube and Twitch. That's what he's on. Okay. You can, oh, maybe you should get on Rumble, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter to me, but that's what he's on. So he's like, all right, here's what's safe for me to talk about. And what's safe for me to talk about is dating, stuff like that. What's unsafe is that could get my channel destroyed is talking about this certain topic. So I'm going to avoid it as much as possible. But somehow that's not it. No, it's because he's a shill, according to Jake Shields, of whatever. Now he's claiming that what is he claiming? He's claiming that Daily Wire regular sends over their talent to amplify and help the podcast larger. All right, so let's see. So we got one. Oh, yeah, I guess I should show you what I'm looking at. Okay, so the only Daily Water person I know that's been on whatever is Michael Knowles. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's like 3, like a bunch of these are clips. So I see one full video. That was a debate. Okay, so that's one video. I see another full video. That's 2. That's where it's, hey, blah, blah, blah. That was 6 months ago. And then 3, and this was a year ago. So somehow, all right, Knowles has been on whatever 3 times, and it's been 6 months since he was on last, and it was twice. One was a debate, and the other was a regular show. And then a year before that, or a year ago, he was on whatever again. But somehow, unless Jake's going to present any other, some evidence saying that, various other guests were also shills of Daily Wire, you're going to have to show that, okay? He says, I have a source. Okay, what proof? That source. What source? What evidence do you have? He doesn't have any. He's just got some wild accusations. So, his ridiculous claims causes Andrew Wilson to say, to tweet this. Can somebody ask Jake Shields if we can get through the bullshit and schedule a debate? I'll go on his podcast and do it in regards to whatever and his stupid criticisms. Jake Shields, he's like, I have no idea what you are even trying to debate me about. Do you ever just have conversations, or is everything a debate? Well, Andrew Wilson's debate channel. But yes, he does have conversations. He's been on Fresh and Fit and has conversations all the time. Like he was just on yesterday, and they did the Fresh and Fit did their nightly news because on Monday they had a debate between him and Haas. So they moved their nightly news to Tuesday. So they did that. And, Andrew Wilson didn't, he debated people a little bit here and there, but he also had regular conversations. So absolutely. And so Andrew Wilson then says, like, all right, let me be clear. Whatever brings on women to make them look stupid and like whores, whatever is currently in the process of a buyout with Daily Wire, whatever doesn't allow real conversations. These are allegations. Yes, it's going to be a debate. Needs to be. And so Jake Shields moves the goalposts. Okay, he says they don't allow real conversations if it's is critical of Israel. If I'm wrong, I'll debate you on whatever. I already won the debate before it started. So somehow he's shifted the goalposts because Andrew Wilson's not talking about Israel because there's a reason for not allowing the conversation of Israel on whatever. It has nothing to do with the Daily Wire. Doesn't have anything to do with anything at all except that YouTube overlords. That's what it has to do with. So Jake Shields moves the goalpost, saying, "Oh well, I'm talking about real conversations if it's critical to Israel." And then, Andrew Wilson says, "I'll go on his podcast and do it." But now he wants to go on whatever instead and debate on whatever. But why? Why do you need to go on to whatever and debate it? Why don't you go to Andrew's channel, The Crucible? It's a big debate channel. Why don't you go on there and debate him there? Why do you have to go on whatever to debate him? Doesn't make any sense. And then he just declares that he won somehow. And that's all I Okay. So, but he declares it's an easy win for him. He's just won somehow. So he's like, I was challenged to a debate by Paleo Christ, that's Andrew Wilson, and won before it even started. How? I don't understand how he thought he won this. He didn't win it. And a lot of people agree. He's like, nah, Jake, this ain't it. And threw him off the floor with him. Let's see. So, this guy tweets like, so you lied about point 1 and 2. Okay, if you see this as a win. And he's like, I'll debate those on whatever, or Andrew has to admit I won this debate. What? What? Andrew doesn't. What? I never made so someone message. It's a dating podcast, Jake. He's like, I never made the claim that they would discuss politics. Andrew did so. That's on him. Andrew's like, show me this claim. And then, like, I would like to see this claim. We just went over it, and it had said nothing about that Andrew claimed that they would discuss. What the fuck is he talking about? And this is the problem with these, Israeli JQ derangement syndrome dudes. Okay, again, it's the same thing with Trump derangement syndrome. They may have some valid points. Okay, they may have some valid points. They may be able to, uh, point out some stuff that this makes sense. All right, yeah. But then they go so far that they look retarded. And then Andrew Wilson immediately changed his goalpost. I went, okay, well, enjoy your win, Goofus. And it's exactly what it was. Like, and then he's so like Jake Shields is so dumb. He's like, you're very clear to state whatever allows real conversation, and that was one of your debate points. Yes, and then you move the goalpost saying, well, and then right here, they don't allow real conversations if it is critical of Israel. That's moving the goalposts, okay? Because he's talking about real conversations in a broader sense, and then you narrowed it down into Israel. So it's really just kind of shows how dumb this guy is. I mean, he's a professional fighter. All right, cool. He's still dumb, or he's at least has such derangement of the JQ stuff and all that he just goes fucking that he just can't actually see uh intelligence. So like again, it does like this has less to do with like okay. It's basically all it is at this point. But yeah, so this like Jake, this again, the reason for not wanting to get into the Israel stuff or JQ stuff is because that it'll get banned or demonetized. How do you not understand this? And this, like I said, this is the problem with these derangement syndrome people, is they get so far down the rabbit hole that they leave common sense at the door. It's basically what ends up happening. It's like he's like, but somehow he's like, oh, I have a source that Daily Wire is buying out whatever. First, what? What? Okay, fine. Show me that source. Let's hear these allegations. I doubt it's true. I doubt it's true. I bet it's complete and utter bullshit. But whatever. It doesn't matter. Let me see. Hold on. All right, I want to go on YouTube. Sorry. So, I mean, to be fair, he just started it. Okay. He just started his podcast, but Jake Shields has only 6.28 subscribers. Um, he's been doing some good on the views. He's got very little subscribers, but he's got some decent views. So, hey, shout out to him. All right, shout out to him. But, this might explain why he wants to go on whatever specifically, because whatever has and again, Jake just started his show, so that's I'm sure it'll go further eventually, but he doesn't currently have that. So he has 6,000.
Welcome to the Whatever Dating Talk podcast, where we try to make sense of the modern dating hellscape.
And whatever has 4.42 million. Okay, so that might explain why he wants to go on whatever instead of just debating on his own podcast. But if it's really really wanted to, you could also go to the Crucible that has one that has 121 subscribers. So you could go to whatever or the Crucible and do the debate there. But somehow he's just going to be a woman and behind Twitter and do some sniping in the back for whatever fucking reason. It's just it's so fucking irritating. Like, again, like I get wanting to bring light to what you think is important, but then why are you attacking whatever for not talking about a certain subject that ends up getting you banned or demonetized on YouTube? Like, maybe Jake doesn't realize that. I don't know. But I don't get it. I really don't get it. All right, moving on. I'm done with this. Guy's a fucking idiot. All right, so this is the Michigan Secretary of State.
If someone were to violate the law and not certify the election at the local level, we will come for you. So any local certifier thinking...
Okay, whatever. It's some crazy broad. But she's apparently refusing to... I thought it was going to be a clip of her saying why she's refusing to remove RFK from the ballot. Apparently not. So we'll move to this article instead. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will be unable to remove himself from the ballot in the key swing states of Michigan and Wisconsin. Election officials confirmed Tuesday, days after he ended his independent presidential campaign and endorsed former President Donald Trump. Kennedy is on the ballot in Michigan as a candidate for the Natural Law Party, which nominated him at its convention this year. Cherry Hardman, spokesperson for the Michigan Secretary of State office, confirmed that minor party candidates cannot withdraw. So that doesn't make any sense. So his name will remain on the ballot in the November elections. So the Michigan's going to keep Biden on, right? Because he was the nominee when. Oh, I guess never mind. I guess the DNC just happened. Never mind. In Wisconsin, the state election commission met Tuesday to certify ballot access for president and vice presidential candidates, even though Kennedy asked to withdraw his nomination petition as an independent candidate. The commission voted to decline the request, according to an archived video of the proceedings published by Wisconsin Eye. The statute literally says anyone who files nomination papers and qualifies to appear on the ballot may not decline the nomination. The name of that person shall appear on the ballot, except in cases of the death of the person. Ann Jacobs, the chair of the commission, told another commission struggling with the idea of keeping someone on the ballot who didn't want to move forward with his or her candidacy. This doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it's like, wait, so they get nominated. They qualifies, but if they don't want it, they can't say no. That doesn't make any sense. And then she responds, "You giving me this touchy feely. I feel like this shouldn't be the law. The law is in this case is crystal clear." She added, "I don't disagree with you. It's weird, but I don't see how we have any discretion here." What? Nevada, however, a court ordered on Tuesday that Kennedy would not appear on the ballot in the fall. The ruling came as part of a lawsuit of a lawsuit Kennedy filed while he was still an active candidate attempting to secure a spot on the ballot. But the court order showed the two sides agreed to drop the case. So on Friday, he dropped out of the race. He's like, in about 10 battleground states where my presence would be a spoiler, I'm going to remove my name. I've already started the process and urged voters not to vote for me. Our polling consistently show by staying on the ballot in the battleground states, I would likely hand the election over to the Democrats with whom I disagree with most extensive issues. But Kennedy added he wouldn't remove his name from ballots in red or blue states and hope of giving his supporters a chance to vote for him without affecting the results of the election. That also doesn't make any sense. I mean, it makes sense to focus on the battleground states, but then be like, oh, well, I'll keep them on red and blue states just so they want to vote for me. Okay, whatever. Kentucky Secretary of State Michael Adams, for instance, announced Monday that Kennedy would be placed on the ballot in the solid Republican state. It is unlikely Kennedy will draw a significant number of votes in the states where he remains on the ballot. He is no longer active campaigning and is supporting a different candidate. But his decision to drop out had been seen as a marginal boost to Trump, as he has been most likely to pull from voters who would choose Trump in a head-to-head match with Vice President Kamala Harris. So again, none of this really makes sense. That oh well, he's already a candidate, so therefore he can't remove his name from the ballot. That doesn't make any sense. Why are you forcing someone to be on the ballot if they don't want to be on the ballot? Like, and like I can at least understand the lady commissioner's fault. He's like, look, this literally is what the law says. I'm just trying to go by the law. We'll see how evenly she actually is on that. But it's still a weird law. It's a dumb law, and they have time. It's like, hey, can we just get this law? Go to lawmakers, say, hey, can we get this law fixed and just remove Kennedy from the ballot? Like, he doesn't want to be here. Let him move. What the fuck is this shit? All right. Okay. But yeah, none of this really made any sense at all. That oh, you must stay on the ballot because we want to. It'd be really funny if Republican states then just put Trump's name or kept Biden's name on the ballot too. No, we don't recognize Kamala Harris. That'd be funny. They shouldn't do that, but it'd be funny. Damn, if only Donald Trump stuck with, or not Donald Trump, Biden stuck, became the nominee, and then dropped out. That would have been great. Then Democrats could have really left his name on the ballot. Oh, well. Like I said, this is just weird. All right, last but simply not least, we're going to look into Legal Mindset's video. He's going to talk about Nick Rekieta. I don't even know what the fuck he's going to say here. There's been an update. All I know so far in the update when it comes to Nick is he's got his children back, which I guess is good. In the sense, kids should be with their parents. I don't believe his kids were getting the drugs. I think there probably was some issue with the drug test that happened on his youngest. I think it was. But I don't fucking know, honestly. But we'll see. So let's see what this update is. All I know, the latest update I know of Nick, and this happened 12 days ago, so this is probably what it's going to be mostly around. But yeah, Nick has his children back, which so is good.
Nick Rekieta, famous baldo wearing, coke sniffing, polyamorous swinger lawyer, is in some trouble. Now, we're not going to go over his full case yet. He does have a hearing coming up, a omnibus hearing coming up this month. Actually, it's coming up pretty soon. I believe it's coming up the next week or two. And I was planning on doing a little bit of a review of the evidence, but there's a lot of other channels that do a very good job of doing the play-by-play covering Nick Rekieta. Channels such as my good friend Josh Mean Copium. I just saw him. He came out and hung out with me for my birthday in Osaka. Really cool guy, good friend of mine. He's doing the play-by-play. He's doing like every single thing, every single document drop. He's covering it. I've said I'm only going to cover stuff that I think is material, right? Or I think is big, or has a bigger, broader message. And today's motion was so insane to me to be written by Nick Rekieta, an internet lawyer who became famous streaming cases, that I had to cover it. So this motion, it's because, mind you, there's been tons of things back and forth. If I wanted to cover Nick, I could have covered Nick consistently for the last however many months it's been. 5 months? I don't know how long it's been going. 3, 4, 5 months? I don't even know anymore, right? I could be, because every time Nick streams, there's a person on Kiwi Farms called Minnesota Public Records that drops new information. So there's always new information coming about Nick. There's always something to stream about if you really want to focus on. The thing is, it's usually very small updates, which may or may not be legally material, or they may just involve stuff that's a little bit salacious or a little bit scandalous, but not necessarily like some legal bombshell. So I said, you know what? It's not important enough. And I have so many huge stories crossing my desk from Disney, from the VTuber world, from general news, people trying to assassinate the president. There's so many big things. And frankly, to be completely honest, Nick is not that important. He likes to think he is very important, but he's really not. He's really not that big of a deal. So I much prefer to cover other topics. However, what he is claiming in this motion, which I'm going to call the motion to hide, right? This is his motion to hide, is not just offensive because it goes against everything he's been doing, but it goes against what everybody else is doing on the internet, streaming stuff, showing stuff, displaying stuff publicly. Nick's motion, if it was taken by attorneys around the US, could be used to completely stop trial coverage. He, in this motion, through his lawyer, right, which once again, you have to endorse your lawyer's statements, things, he essentially believes, and we're gonna get into this, that by covering stuff, by streaming stuff, we are hurting defendants, that we are hurting people by streaming, that it's better for us to hide things. It's better for things to be secret. And that's better for people, that's better for America, that's better for people out there, to hide everything so that the government can conduct these secret hearings that nobody is privy to, or a limited number of people are privy to, so nobody knows what's going on in the courtroom. That's the position that he adopts in this motion today. I'm not being hyperbolic.
And it's very interesting that Nick would apparently adopt this position, considering he's claiming it's a big mass conspiracy against him. That you know, it's a huge conspiracy, big conspiracy. They're against me. It's the government against me. Giant conspiracy. You would think then that you would want it out in the open. And shown like, hey, look, here's the conspiracy. I'm showing you the conspiracy. So it kind of tells you how much bullshit he's been peddling. Nick has from this very, it's very obvious, honestly. Like, it's like, come on, you're telling me that that the guy who promotes, openness, best way to hold the court accountable is openness, and then saying, oh, the government, they're after me. It's the government's fault. They're after me. They're framing me. Blah blah blah. Now he doesn't want his particular case to be out in the open, even though he keeps touting that, hey, it's a conspiracy against him. Okay, I'm really a good guy. There's a conspiracy. Help me. But now he doesn't want that. He doesn't want the public seeing his the truth. Interesting.
At all, actually. And mind you, this man has made millions, and at least over a million minimum in his streaming career, right? Because you got to factor in not just YouTube and super chats and all that ad revenue, Rumble contract, sponsorship deals, locals, donations, right? All that together clearly has topped $1 million at this point. Clearly has dropped $1 million. So this guy's made over $1 million for sure from his streaming career, which is primarily based on streaming trials. And now he says the trials should not be streamed ever because it hurts defendants. And by the way, he has not deleted any of his streams covering trials at all. He's not deleted any Johnny Depp. He's not deleted any Kyle Rittenhouse. He's not deleted anything else. Potter trial, whatever, Murdaugh, whatever the hell else he did. Hasn't deleted any of that, but he's making that argument in court. So but without further ado, let's get into this. Also, this involves a little bit of discussion, a little bit of a trigger warning here, guys. I'm going to warn you about the nuts that we serve at the legal restaurant here. A little bit of a trigger warning here. We are going to talk about, he makes an allegation about somebody that is accused of cheese pizza, the CP, right? Now, I'm going to have to get into a little bit of speculation about that, but since we're talking about that topic, just be aware we're going to talk about that. If you're horribly sensitive about that topic, then, you'll, fair warning. But obviously also because I mentioned that topic at all, this channel, the stream will get limited. So, if you could like the video, there's 2,200 of you in there right now. If 1,000 of you like this video, that would really help me out right now. We've only got about 500 likes. So if some of you would go out there and like the video, I'd appreciate it. Since we're going to get demonetized for this. And real quick here, I'll read these super chats and we'll start. Alpha O said for 5, thank you. Eric Stratton said mom and pop are actually good places that will cook for basic ingredients. LR Allergy, carry cards with info to give the servant chef. Sure. But also don't expect them all to accommodate. Right. Agnes says for 5, hot new info, head file listed in Nick documents is a listed Rekieta law supporter and fan for 2 years. Really? Okay, Agrilith, I'm going to keep this up. Now, this was one of my theories, but I didn't know this was confirmed. Now, that's very interesting. So I'm going to save this. because this is once again, I not confirm this, but I will look after the stream and confirm whether this is true or not. But that's very interesting. Oliver Klozoff said, is Nick still the lawyer for his wife and nanny, despite the conflict of interest? Also, shout out to Long Crime Network, friend of the channel. Fuck you, Oliver Klozoff. But I do not think he's a lawyer for them anymore. No. All right, let's go. Let's get into this motion. Let's get into the motion of the ocean. All right, so right here, we have this responsive motion. So here we are. This is a motion by the attorney for Nicholas Robert Rekieta. Now, what they are trying to do here is they are trying to quash or destroy or suppress a motion by one Joshua Moon. And in case you don't know who Joshua Moon is, he is the evil overlord of the Kiwi Farms who owns a drone swarm that will stalk you across all of Europe, America, Asia, anywhere you go. They will find where you are and where you're taking a shit. Joshua Moon. That's Josh Moon. No, but to be serious, Josh had his attorney reach out to me, and I filed an affidavit on this as well, giving a motion to allow for audio and video recording because it is under certain conditions presumptively allowed, right? If you meet certain basic conditions, you have to allow this in Minnesota. So Nick is filing this motion, right, in response. But the response is, we want to hide this. So that's why I'm renaming this the motion to hide. Right, the motion to hide. All right. So the motion is submitted in response to Joshua Moon's motion for an order of this court permitting the audio-visual recording and broadcasting of all future proceedings in this matter. The defendant objects to the audio and video recording of all future proceedings in this matter and requests the court deny it in its entirety. Okay, so to be real quick here, this is particularly offensive because they're saying under no conditions can this be allowed to slide, right? That's ridiculous. Are there not things the court could do to accommodate for any concerns? Yes, of course there are. So they're going to bring up a lot of things in here. And these are things that they brought up before, which are bullshit. Bullshit arguments, like the children. Like, think about the children. Well, pause. If the children were forced to testify in his criminal case, which they shouldn't be, and by the way, the filming is really only related to the criminal side, not really the child custody side, right? But his kids are not expected to be witnesses. And even if they were, that part wouldn't be recorded. It simply wouldn't, because they're children. So as it is, as the law stands, period, that would not be recorded. So that argument of but the children is a completely bunk argument. Now, they've made this argument before. They're going to make it again, right? But the only way, and by the way, the only way the children get called, the only way that Nick's children get on the stand is if Nick and Kayla put them there. So unless Nick and Kayla are winning mother and father of the century by not only having one of their kids test positive for cocaine, but also by putting their kid on the stand, then they're not even, there's no way they're even relevant to this at all. Everything involving the kids would be removed. And someone mentioned in the chat, perhaps he got this idea from a certain boss baby. That is one of the theories I'd be very, very sure is that a lot of these strategies and this PR, I believe he may have even engaged a PR firm. I think he's going with a certain angle. And the certain angle is to label anybody in the opposition as a certain thing, right? A certain thing I can't even say on YouTube because it will get you in trouble, right? But to say anybody who doesn't agree with me is a blank, right? Which is something that a lot of people say to defame others on the internet. Right? It's very common. In fact, we talk about the Tyga situation in the VTuber realm, where people just throw out the word PDF, and it's like, well, you can't just call somebody that, right? In fact, Nick, of all people, in his suit with Montagraph, because he's currently in a lawsuit with Montagraph for calling Montagraph a PDF. So of all people, he should know, hey, this is a stupid strategy. But it appears this may be a continuation of such strategy, right? And it's the same as calling everybody a Nazi. Yeah, thank you, Don Buck. It's the same as calling everybody a Nazi or racist. It's actually the same strategy that the woke left uses. It's literally a woke leftist tactic to call somebody a pejorative that is completely unfounded, right?
It's time for you to get your reading super powered. So stop straining your eyes and start listening.
Now let's continue. Josh says that through his counsel, authorizing either himself or a professional videographer or a Minnesota attorney to record the proceedings. Moon avers a great word, to be the sole member of a limited liability company which operates the website known as Kiwi Farms. He is the person yes, he's the person who operates Kiwi Farms. Mr. Moon asserted that Kiwi Farms is an internet forum that promotes commentary and discussion of noteworthy events. And by the way, I see people in the chat saying some stuff about Josh, and I'll say this. You can like or hate Josh, right? You can think Josh is whatever. You can think Josh is a POS, Josh is a hero, or Josh is neither good nor bad, or he is a human who has both good and bad to him, right?
I don't care about Josh.
Whatever you want to think about Josh, right? He's just asking for it to be recorded. So at the end of the day, you can make up your own mind with that information. So that information that you get from that, you can deal with your own way. You can deal with your own way. By the way, from the poll from earlier, 87% of you thought that Disney lawyer was a DEI hire. I want to put up a poll here. Is Josh Moon good or evil? Right. So we'll do good to evil, and then we'll guys just being ambiguous. Let's continue. Just autistic. That's fine. That's ambiguous. If you think he's just autistic, Put ambiguous. Okay. Let's continue. Included with and in support of Mr. Moon's motion and affidavit were a number of communications to and from Candiota County Sheriff's Office, which Mr. Moon's counsel averred he received in response to his Government Data Practices Act request. Counsel declared that due to the volume of material response to his request and the late delivery of the media, he had not had the time to thoroughly review the records released by the sheriff and what they contained. On August 7th, Mr. Moon's counsel noticed that the court and the parties that Oliver Bromka, a licensed attorney in Minnesota, had volunteered to audio and video to record them on behalf of Mr. Moon. Mr. Bromka affidavit informed the court that he has a attorney license in good standing in the state of Minnesota Minnesota attorney ID of 0504714. Mr. Bromka reinstated his Minnesota attorney ID was 0505714 in his signature block. However, a search of the Minnesota Judicial Branch website revealed that lawyer ID 0504714 is assigned to attorney Andrea Marie Blastel of Minneapolis, not to Oliver Bromka of Grand Forks, North Dakota. So maybe the guy put the wrong number. Are they trying to like dunk on this guy because he put his wrong bar number? Maybe just like spelled wrong? It's not really a big dunk. Just saying. Like, oh, he's got his bar number wrong, bro. That like you spent a paragraph for a typo. Good job, bro. And by the way, you lead with your strongest arguments. So his strongest argument is that the guy who was gonna videotape it misspelled or typoed his bar. That's his strong argument. That's weird. That's really weird, right? That should be like one thing you mention at the end. You like a little and one, you know. Okay, let's continue here. The law. Counsel for Mr. Moon cited the applicable rule, albeit incompletely. Oh, look at that. The cope. Counsel cited to impart the language of municipal rule of general practice, writing in criminal proceedings occurring before a jury plea may be accepted or a guilty verdict may be returned. A judge may authorize the visual or audio recording and reproduction of appropriate court trial proceedings unless there's substantial likelihood that the coverage will expose any victim or witness who may testify at trial to harm, threats of harm, or intimidation. To determine whether to grant a request for video or audio recording and reproduction, the presiding judge may consider any relevant factors, not included, not limited to, the positions of the parties and the wishes of the victim, the level of public interest in the trial, the necessity of coverage to safeguard the defendant's right to public trial or the public right of access to criminal trials, the existence of security issues, courtroom and facility limitations or public health concerns, and courtroom facility limitations that would render coverage impractical, the positive or negative impact of recording or reproduction on the dignity and decorum of the trial proceedings, and the effect of recording and reproduction on transparency, public education, public trust, confidence in the proceeding, and the judicial system. Counsel omitted the final sentence, which reads, coverage under this paragraph shall be subject to the following limitations. Two such matters at a minimum are applicable. First of which, this matter should not be dismissed prior to trial, is there shall be no visual or audio coverage of any witness, victim, or defendant who is a minor at the time of trial, right? Yeah, okay, right? And it is foreseeable because of the charge, the alleged violation, Minnesota Statute 607-378, one or more of the witnesses called by the state will be a minor at the time of trial. Called by the state? Called by the state? No, the charge doesn't require the kid to testify. What the fuck are you talking about? A blanket order to permit the audiovisual recording for all future proceedings is unwarranted. No, that's stupid. This is a stupid fucking argument. So they're trying to say the state's going to call the kid. Why would the state doesn't need to call the kid? The state has...
Yeah, like... like, why would the state need to call the kid? I mean, like, I guess if they're... Like, yeah, I don't see a reason why. Like, the only reason we need to call the kid is to, like, you know, talk about the state of conditions that they were living in and stuff like that. But if the body cam footage shows that, you know, hey, the place was terrible and messy and shit, that would you know, easily show in the that easily show. So that doesn't make any sense.
There's no reason to call the kid. They can prove their case without ever calling the kid. Yeah, if Nick is doing coke in a house with a kid, the charge is going to be there, right?
And look, if you know, if what they reported seeing in the house and the body cam footage and all that, if that is, you know, if that's accurate, you'll see that in the body cam footage. So the need for the kid is irrelevant. They don't need the kid. So I don't see the state wanting or needing to call the kid at all.
Right. So he doesn't need his own kid. The only reason that they're going to testify is because I think Nick is going to call them to testify. Because Nick, just like with Daddy, who said Nick didn't do nothing, right? Which, by the way, we're not covering it, but Nick's dad pretty much was like, Nick, in summary, Nick was a good boy. He didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing wrong, right? So Daddy enabling a little bit here. But the state's not calling him. It would only be Nick. It'd be only be Nick. Unless it got to a point so bad that the kid flipped, but I doubt that's going to happen. I doubt a kid's going to turn state's evidence here. Like, if it was that bad, that'd be pretty nuts. That would be pretty nuts. But what this would happen in trial, practically, this lawyer is a retard. You just don't show that part. You just turn the camera off for the kid's testimony. It's real easy. It's super easy. You just go, boop, boop, and you turn it back on afterwards, right? Turn it back on afterwards. So you just don't record them. It's very simple. It's not hard. We have the technology to turn the camera off. There is a special significance upon information belief. The first individual who sought information from Candiota County, who identified himself as a volunteer member of the Kiwi Farms Reporting Forum, is John Close of 950 25th Street Northwest, apartment 1813N, Washington, D.C. Upon information, believe John Close, in addition to being a volunteer member of the Kiwi Farms Reporting Forum. Okay, full stop. Let me tell you right now why I thought this was suspicious. And we're going to get into this guy's email in a second. I'm going to pull up the email in 1 second. This guy self-reported as a member of the Kiwi Farms, except for Josh Moon. Nobody's going to say why I'm a member of Kiwi Farms. The whole point of Kiwi Farms, they can be anonymous. Now, there's advantages and disadvantages to being anonymous. The advantage is that you can say whatever you want to say pretty freely, and nobody knows who you are. But the disadvantage is that people are going to be kind of skeptical of believing you, because if at the end of the day you can't put your identity out there in some way, shape, or form, even if at least your face, right? You do have a little bit less credibility. People don't identify with you. People don't tend to view that you're believable, right, as much if you're anonymous versus if you're not. Right? Anybody can be a member of Kiwi Farms. There's no stopping anybody from signing up at Kiwi Farms. Right. And also he says voluntary member. There's no mandatory members. Nobody's conscripted into the Kiwi Farms. It's not like the Gulag, right? Where like you're voluntold to go there.
All right. I do apologize. I'm going to have to stop it there. I got to go and take out my dog and let my wife sleep for like an hour or so. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll finish this up tomorrow. I ended up getting distracted and doing some other stuff, talking about some other things. But yeah, what do you think? Do you think Jake Shields an idiot? Like I do. Like he has that Israeli, or JQ derangement syndrome. It's very important that a dating podcast show talks about Israel. You think it's dumb that RFK can't remove himself from the ballot? What do you think, so far about this Nick stuff? He's the guy who championshiped and says, hey, it's good that we have video recordings on courts. That way it shows, how they can, that way we can hold them accountable. And also, peddling this, they're against me. They're framing me, but I don't want the video shown. I don't want it streamed. It's ridiculous. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Give me a follow. There we go. And yeah, I hope you all have a good day. Peace out, and I will see you tomorrow. We'll be back either around the same time I did today, or we'll, my normal time. Depends on how work I later. But again, I hope you all enjoy the video. Give it a like and give me a follow. Hope you have a good day. Peace out. See you later.